We are in Richmond tonight for another match week in USL League One, where another East Coast clash takes center stage from City Stadium. It's Richmond Kickers returning home to host Greenville Triumph. We say hello and welcome here from the River City. Sam Goldfarb here, bringing you all of the action. Let's jump right into the standings in USL League One. For Richmond, right around that playoff cut line, they are playing with fire at the moment, winless in their last 6. They could use a boost. Meanwhile, Greenville, currently knotted in a 3-way tie for first. A victory allows them to claim sole possession of first place in the table once again. A lot of stakes here tonight from City Stadium. Let's take a look at our players to watch for Richmond. They have struggled scoring. That has been the main focus of Darren Sawatsky of late. Adrian Billhart, though, has provided half of their goals on the season. 4 goals in 5 appearances. He's tied for second in the league. So dangerous in possession, but also has splashed that bit of clinical finishing the rest of this kicker squad has lacked in the absence of Emiliano Terzaghi. Look out for him. He will be the big man on the flanks tonight for the Kickers. On the other side of things, for Rick Wright's bunch, it was an unlikely hero in the second round of the Jägermeister Cup against Tormenta. Jamie Smith pulled them back from a 2-1 second-half deficit, leveling it there from the penalty spot, and then from nearly midfield, an absolute scorcher in the 86th minute to give Greenville the victory. Just an elite presence defensively who has offered some goal-scoring punch of late. We are just about set for kickoff between Richmond and Greenville. The second meeting in less than a month between these two squads after this commercial break.
How much is the Branzino?
It's market price.
CarMax has upfront pricing on cars. You can't tell me how much a fish costs?
Ma'am. Ma'am, you can't use our bathtubs.
CarMax has test drives. You can't have test baths?
How did you even get water in there?
I don't know. You tell me.
I hate this job.
Experience CarMax, and you'll never settle for anything less.
So we've decided to sell the house.
Oh, yeah? Who's your realtor?
Well,
Home for sale, home for sale. Over here, guys, over here. Only $10.
Where do I find comps? What is encumbrance? How do I escrow?
Here's what I found for Scarecrow.
actually, I've been meaning to ask who you and Paul worked with.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Teams proceeding out on the pitch. Tonight's match presented by UCrops between Richmond Kickers and Greenville Triumph. The second meeting in all competitions in less than a month between these two squads. And let's take a peek at the starting 11s for both of these squads in this rematch from that Jägermeister Cup thriller on April 27th. For Richmond Kickers, they changed their formation to a 4-4-2. 2 changes from last Saturday's defeat at Chattanooga. That was a 1-0 defeat. Neil Vignal still up front with Chandler O'Dwyer. You see Zaka Moran and James Vaughn, the duo in the heart of midfield. Justin Suko starting on the left flank. He is making just his second league start. And also Guy Franca making his first league start of the year at center back alongside Dakota Barnathan for Darren Sawatsky's bunch. Sierakowski out of the 11 tonight for Richmond. On the other side of things, Greenville also charging into an unorthodox 4-4-2 look by their standards. They've made a couple changes as well, notably Daniel Wu slotting in at center back alongside the aforementioned Jamie Smith, and Carlos Anguiano moving up front alongside Leo Castro. Keep your eye out for number 9 in white for Greenville. Liam McKinnon leads the league in goals. He has been the danger man all season for Rick Wright's bunch. We are just about set for kickoff between Richmond and Greenville. Team still warming up. We have not kicked off just yet. You see Richmond currently in the red with white numbers. Greenville in the white with black numbers. It's a wet night in Richmond. It'll be intermittent rain all evening. Temperatures in the low 60s, but that has not deterred one of the best fan bases in League One. You see the Red Army and the rest of the supporters groups in full force on First Responders Night here from City Stadium. A lot of firemen and local police officers in attendance as well. It's a great atmosphere, as it always is, in Richmond. We are still waiting the referee's signal. Richmond hoping to snap a drought of 6 winless in all comps. Greenville looking to continue their dream start to 2024. And we are underway here from City Stadium, an East Coast clash which has characterized good chunks of League One the last few years, taking center stage once again. Richmond going left to right on your screen. Ball is with Simon Fitch, the VCU product. Greenville will go right to left. Sam Goldfarb here, excited to bring you all of the action tonight. Two teams drew 1-1 at Paladin Stadium in the Jägermeister Cup less than a month ago. Richmond secured the extra point on penalties in that affair. It was a match that fit the game script that has plagued Richmond of late. Dropping points after going ahead has been a familiar concern. Also finishing key chances has been a big point of emphasis this week for Darren Sawatsky. We alluded to the 1-0 defeat, Richmond falling at Chattanooga in the second match of the Jägermeister Cup. It was a game in which Darren Sawatsky said he felt his side created 2 or 3 opportunities they should have buried in the 6-yard box. They lacked that bit of clinical touch last weekend. Says he's pleased with the amount of chances his side is creating, but ultimately they need to finish better, and they should have won that match last weekend. We'll be hoping that the goals start to flow here tonight against a Greenville team that has been pretty secure on both ends of the pitch. There's the first touch by Neil Vinyals, the talisman for this Richmond team. Chip to the back post is corralled by Christian Garner back in the 11 tonight for Greenville. Keys of the match tonight for Richmond: you've got to finish your chances more clinically. We touched on that moments ago. Without Emiliano Terzaghi, who is going to provide that final bit of finishing touch? Will it come tonight? That's the big question for Greenville. They've conceded multiple goals in their last couple league matches. It is about tightening up after being bashed for 3 goals at Madison a couple weeks ago, and also conceding a pair against Tormenta last week. Here's the long throw coming from Hayden Anderson. Falls to the feet of Vinyals. Now chipped to the heart of the area towards Castro, and a bit of hand fighting. We'll send this back to Richmond. Still inside the opening 5 minutes here from City Stadium. Greenville team looking to go back toward the top of the league. Well, you got your look moments ago at Christian Garner. He opened the year as the regular starter. When talking to Rick Wright, he said the goalkeeping battle between Garner and Gunther Rankenberg is pretty much fully up for grabs. He says he's never been so indecisive with a pick of goalkeeper in his career, and it's because both guys are so skilled between the sticks. Ultimately left it up to a goalkeeping competition on Thursday afternoon and has clearly gone with the former Riverhounds man in Garner, who boasts slightly more professional experience between the two, although both 24 years of age. For Richmond as well, it is a battle between the sticks, and Ryan Shello has seemingly won it of late. He once again is back in goal for Richmond tonight. Here's Vinyals, was looking for the feet of Fitch, who wins it off McKinnon. Little slip on this wet playing surface. Bill Hart. For Maxi Schenfeld, the Chilean fullback, a new addition to this Richmond squad in the offseason. Fitch has some runners ahead. He'll opt for Bill Hart, already involved early and often for Richmond. Zaka Moran, quite on the same wavelength as his midfield counterpart O'Dwyer. Well, fans, the injury report tonight is brought to you by Bon Secours. You see Emiliano Terzaghi out once again. He's been out since early September of last year with that hand injury. Beckett Howell, also an Academy product, absent tonight. Terzaghi's the big missing link for Richmond this season. Someone who's led the league in scoring 3 years running before quote-unquote only scoring 10 goals a season ago. Terzaghi, the all-time leading scorer in USL League One, and well, the loss has certainly showed. Created chances, but have lacked that bit of finishing touch up front, and Terzaghi is the piece they feel will rectify that when he's back. Still about 3 to 4 weeks away from properly being in consideration for this kicker's bunch. Here's Vinyals, an all-league first-team selection for Richmond a season ago. Finch. Nice bout of possession early on for the kickers. They've won the possession battle their last couple league matches, but ultimately have come up empty-handed. They look for Bill Hart now. It's an excellent recovery by Wu in the end. Passes his first test with relative ease. Polak, was untouched by McKinnon for Greenville throw. Triumph team that we mentioned won a thriller against Tormenta in the Jägermeister Cup last weekend. Their first 3 points of the competition. Fell behind 2-1 at halftime after taking an early lead through the feet of Liam McKinnon. Rick Wright said they had a pretty stern meeting at halftime. Said they weren't playing their best, got away from their principles, and came out fired up in the second. Won the penalty to equalize in the 68th, and we showed you the shot heard around the world in the 86th from Jamie Smith. A contender for goal of the season, no doubt. Rescuing all 3 points at home for Greenville last week. Their last league match, though, was a defeat at Madison, where they blew a 2-1 lead, and shoring things up defensively is a big point of emphasis for Rick Wright's bunch entering tonight. Chop that ahead, looking for McKinnon. Comes loose to Evan Lee. Anguiano. Long for McKinnon. It's cleared only as far as Polak. McKinnon again. Cuts it back. Looking for options in the middle. Falls to the edge of the area for Anguiano. Steam taken out of the shot, though. A late parting gift by Hayden Anderson has left a Richmond man prone on the pitch. It's James Vaughn who took the worst of that contact. Well, the physio's on the pitch just 11 minutes in. Well, here's your look at that challenge. For one, good run by McKinnon. Comes to the edge of the area for Anguiano. Just ultimately the shot clattering off Vaughn. No contact between the two, and Vaughn a little shaken up. Seems content to continue, though, as he looks to shake that off. And who spent the last couple of years in English non-league. Also played for Detroit City back in their NPSL and NISA days. It's been a mainstay for Richmond since joining the club. Ultimately just a stinger. They'll wait for the next dead ball to re-enter as they'll drop it at midfield to Greenville. If you're just joining us, thank you for tuning in here on ESPN Plus. Richmond Kickers and Greenville Triumph resuming an East Coast rivalry, if you will. Here's McKinnon for Greenville. Chops it towards the back post, was looking for the run of Anderson. Suko ultimately darts it away. We mentioned Greenville's scintillating start. 4 unbeaten, secured 10 points in their opening 4 league matches. They've hit a bit of a wobble since, with a couple losses in their last 3, but still enter tonight with a chance to go top of the table once again. Part of that, Rick Wright pointed out to us, is due to the fact they played more matches than the competition. Still off to a very terrific beginning to 2024. There's your look at a Greenville veteran, Tyler Polak. 32-year-old in his 6th year with Greenville. Has been with the club since its inaugural campaign. A pair of clubs that have been members of USL League One since its inaugural season. Richmond, though, of course, a much more storied history than Greenville. One of the longest continuously running professional soccer clubs in American history. While you don't have the history of the Richmond-Charleston rivalry on the cards every season due to the league divide, still a club that has made its mark in USL League One and arguably plays in the biggest rivalry in lower league soccer against Ford Madison as well. For Greenville, they've got the star on the kit from 2020, something Richmond has not been able to do as a member of USL League One. Running out of real estate on that far side. You're seeing all the players losing their footing here early. Remember, it has rained throughout a good bulk of the afternoon in Richmond. The playing surface is slick. Has not been a torrential downpour by any stretch. And will make the ball play quicker. Perhaps a mistake could make the difference tonight. Simple loss of footing could separate these two sides at the end of 90 minutes. Welcome to American soccer in the summer months. This is Daniel Wu on an adventurous run forward from center back. Comes loose. This is Bill Hart streaking down the left flank. And numbers ahead as well for Richmond. He's looking for the run of Fitch. McKinnon. Hoping to manufacture a counter himself. And still McKinnon. Searches for Castro. It comes to Anderson. Much ado about nothing in the long run. Flag may have been raised anyways. Well, there's your close-up view of Ryan Cello, a 26-year-old who has potentially made the starting goalkeeper role his own. Opened the air as a backup for Pablo Jara, but he has stamped his claim to this starting role the last couple weeks. Been talking to Darren Sawatsky. He didn't offer any sense of finality in that decision, but said ultimately Cello was a player who just needed a chance. Played a couple years with Detroit City, never got an opportunity to break into the 11. But he was a star at Cornell and now starting to flash that shot stopping for Richmond. Here's Fitch the other direction and didn't quite catch that one properly. On the other side, we've alluded to the active battle that Rick Wright has on his hands. Christian Garner gets his 5th start between the sticks for Greenville tonight. He did start in the Jägermeister Cup last weekend, made a pair of saves with a pair of goals allowed. That battle in Greenville is totally unresolved. Both Garner and Rankenberg have had their impressive moments. Garner statistically, the numbers look a little healthier. The man who spent last season with Bob Lilly in Pittsburgh. McKinnon darts this ahead to Polak, and Polak ultimately unable to run on to the end of it. It does set up the match's first corner, though, for Greenville. First major set piece, just shy of 20 minutes in. And who else to take it but Liam McKinnon, who's been off to a flyer to start 2024. Herrera in the immediate vicinity for Greenville as well. They take it short. McKinnon tries for goal. No real trouble for Shello in the end. Let's take a look at our keys, sponsored by CarMax. For Richmond Clinical Finishing, we've mentioned it numerous times in these opening 20 minutes. Chance creation has been great, according to Darren Sawatsky. The finishing has not. That has to change tonight if Richmond hopes to secure all 3 points for the first time in 4 league matches. On the other side of things, we've also alluded to this for Greenville. They need to tighten up at the back. 5 conceded in the last 2 matches in all competitions. They've struggled to protect leads, which historically is not a very Greenville-like trend. They've always been very sound on both ends of the pitch. They started the year with a few clean sheets, but a couple wobbles recently have forced them to look inward at their back line. Schenfeld surging ahead for Richmond. And now Bill Hart picks out Fitch on the overlap. Looking for a cross. Took a deflection before it could reach Suko's head. Giano for Greenville. If you're just changing the channel, welcome here on ESPN Plus. 20 minutes gone from City Stadium, Richmond and Greenville. Blocking horns once again in USL League One action. The second of 4 scheduled meetings between League One and the Cup. First meeting was a 1-1 draw that Richmond won on penalties, secured the extra point in their Jägermeister Cup opener. Man who scored that goal for Richmond, Ryan Sierakowski's on the bench tonight. Opened the scoring in the 70th before Evan Lee equalized at the death. Polak. Chips it towards the heart of the area. He's looking for Castro. Took a fortuitous hop back to Polak, but unable to control it on that left-hand side. For Richmond, we focus so much on the attack and the changes they've made on the front line, but defensively, they have been without their preferred starting center back duo all year. Nathan Awney has missed every match this season, but he's on the bench tonight with a chance to potentially factor in. Meanwhile, Guy Franca just made his first start with Richmond last Saturday in the Jägermeister Cup. So they're only just now getting fully healthy, and their ideal starting center back pairing missed the entire preseason, and it's been a makeshift back line all season for Richmond. The only stable positions really have been the fullback spots in Schenfeld and Fitch. There's Bill Hart. He's looking to link with O'Dwyer, who may have taken a knock in that process. Suko comes to Vinyals. Time for the league lead in chances created. And now Schenfeld for Richmond. There's no way through that back 4 for Greenville just yet. Billhart looks through for O'Dwyer and nods it along to Fitch. There's some space for Richmond now. Cross ultimately stabbed away. It falls to the feet of Vaughn, though. And back to Billhart. O'Dwyer looking for the return pass. And no way through just yet. And now the hard challenge draws the match's first yellow card. Anguiano, the man who took the contact. And a Richmond man in the book 25 minutes in. Zaka Moran, who is in the book for Richmond. First man booked on either side in the 25th. A veteran for this Richmond squad, a former River Plate Academy graduate who's been with the club the last 4 seasons. It's a dual 6 midfield tonight for Richmond. Zaka Moran as well as James Vaughn, neither of them known for their goal-scoring prowess. Both are just solid forces in front of that back four tonight. It's an interesting alignment for both teams. Talked to Darren Sawatsky. He said, in an ideal world where I'm fully healthy, I want to play a 4-1-4-1 with a high press. Tonight, it's a 4-4-2. Vinyals is playing out of position alongside O'Dwyer, who's also better as a winger. And for Greenville, a team that historically has been built on 3 at the back or occasionally tweaking it with 4, they're playing a 4-4-2 with Anguiano out of position. So some odd selections on the team sheet from both coaches. See how that affects proceedings the remainder of the night. Still no major chances either way just yet. Moran links well with Billhart. Surges out of that tussle unscathed and picks out Fitch. Very involved early on that right flank for Richmond. Schenfeld. Moran. Fitch. Richmond lacking that bit of swift interplay to unlock that back four for Greenville. They've dominated the ball for the most part tonight. It's resembled the game script of many of the last few matches. Schenfeld now has space. He's bundled over, and now Richmond with a free kick in an enticing position. Cards stay in the pocket for now from the lead official. Sets up Vinyals on this set piece. We know he can deliver a perler from these scenarios. And donning the captain's armband tonight with Terzaghi out. It's a good delivery from Vinyals to the heart of the area. It caught the head of one of his teammates, but over the bar and no trouble in the end for Christian Garner. Let's take another look at this. It's an enticing delivery from Vinyals. Gets good whip to it. Ultimately, Dakota Barnathan, the man who put his noggin on it, couldn't keep it down though, and Garner can breathe a sigh of relief. There's 2 set pieces of note, one for either team. Neither have amounted to a glaring opportunity just yet. Castro wins it back. Searching for Anguiano, not quite on that same wavelength though. Greenville team that traditionally bosses possession. They've been on the back foot for the bulk of this opening half hour. Unlikely game script for neutral fans, to say the least. Schenfeldt comes to the feet of Guy Franca. 24-year-old Brazilian making his first league start for Richmond Kickers. Team slowly getting its way back to full health. Well, half an hour gone here from City Stadium, and we still await the match's first glaring opportunity. Match week 9 here in USL League One. A Richmond team hovering right around the playoff cut line. Top 8 teams make the postseason this year in USL League One. Richmond sits in the 8th spot, winless in their last 6 in all competitions. Greenville currently in 2nd. They could climb to 1st with a result tonight. Vinyals finds Billhart. Cross comes in. He's looking for Suko's run and doesn't bend it enough. How about that? Took enough hook to go out for a throw. You don't see that every day of the week. The inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup continues on Saturday, May 25th, with the 3rd round games in group play starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Watch all the Cup games streaming exclusively on ESPN+. I mentioned round 2 of the Jägermeister Cup was last weekend. A week from now, we get round 3. Competition that encourages goal scoring, and when you look at the numbers across the board, it's starting to resemble the high-scoring outputs we predicted preseason. It was a very low-scoring first round. Second match week, things began to change. We mentioned that 5-goal thriller in Greenville last weekend against Tormenta. McKinnon scored the opener of that match. Brief appeal for handball that does not move the officiating crew. We have mentioned that Greenville historically doesn't play without the ball much, especially this season. The Richmond Kickers, the last 10 minutes, have had over 65% of the ball. They've dominated the ball these last couple matches. Still looking for that incision in the final third. That has what has eluded them the last few weeks. Billhart would be the most likely man to provide it. Skips past Polak. Clear to McKinnon. Anguiano for Greenville. Very few transition moments in this match for either side. Chapa Herrera, former El Paso Locomotive man, a veteran of the USL ranks. McKinnon. Polak. Already tucking McKinnon in more centrally to make more of an impact. He's been marooned on that left flank for large portions of the night. And here he is now. Unable to venture past Vaughn. A pair of proud franchises tonight. We've mentioned Greenville's storied history since joining the league in 2019. A team that reached 3 consecutive finals to begin its tenure, all under John Harkes. But at the end of last season, the lone stalwart departed in Harkes, took a step down, and Rick Wright, his longtime assistant, has filled the void. Great start to his head coaching career. He's a legend of the upstate region. Someone who started the men's soccer program at Anderson, also at his alma mater, Erskine. He coached the men's and women's teams. Someone who, for the better part of 4 decades, has been a fixture of the South Carolina soccer community. Now has his opportunity to lead Greenville triumph. Says his coaching philosophy is not much different to Mr. Harkes. Says he's also learned a lot from John and hopes to implement that, as well as the same culture his predecessor instilled. Says so far the players have bought into the selfless nature of this Greenville Triumph unit. And honestly, when you had as much success as you did under John Harkes, doesn't merit much change in approach. Here's the flick on header, comes to the edge of the area now. And Shello takes heavy contact. Both players clattered on the pitch. Long throw from Anderson here, and it's kind of a foot race between Jamie Smith and Ryan Shello. And both take contact to the head. That's a nasty collision between 2 of the premier players in this match tonight. And both are very slow to get back to their feet. A scary sight here at the tail end of this first half. Mentioned the importance of Shello to shoring up the defense, one of the best shot stoppers in USL League One. While Jamie Smith, the hero last weekend, the mainstay in the heart of defense this season, he's finally back to his feet. And checking on the 26-year-old Shello. We send our best to Ryan Shello, someone who's impressed the last few weeks and impressed Darren Sawatsky with the way he's approached the game since joining Richmond this offseason. He seems intent on continuing. So a great sight. Both players seem good to go. And ultimately no lasting damage done by either party. Tough guy between the sticks for Richmond. Here's Vinyals, still looking to grow into this match for the Kickers. Dwyer in the tussle with Wu wins that set piece. Not a bad position to deliver a ball in the quarter of uncertainty here. Maxi Schenfeld is going to be the man tasked with doing so for Richmond. New addition to this back line this offseason. Floats it towards the back stick. Found the head of Dakota Barnathan, but didn't do much more than that. Routinely into Garner's gloves. Here's Polak, McKinnon. Want to work on Simon Fitch. He wins his side at their second corner of the night.
A yellow card was assessed to number 17 for Richmond, James Vaughn, in the 37th minute. Yellow card to Richmond, number 17.
So we mentioned the yellow earlier, which was listed on Zaka Moran. It has now been changed to his center midfield counterpart in James Vaughn. So Vaughn is on the yellow as McKinnon delivers this in-swinger. Falls for Anguiano. Stabbed away only as far as Polak. Okay, so you see Vaughn gets the yellow. That was the foul that was earlier assumed to be Moran. They cautioned Moran, and now we're changing the assessment. Herrera. Closing stages of this first half. Still waiting for the first glaring opportunity in this match between two of the better chance creators in USL League One. Greenville still without a shot on target tonight. Teams managing just 2 shots in the opening 40 minutes. Polak loses out to Vaughn. Moran. Schenfeld. Not shy about bombing down that left flank. It's an aggressive fullback pairing with Schenfeld and Fitch. They've got the speed to recover, and Richmond has handled the transitional moments well tonight. They have another to grapple with here, though. McKinnon for Greenville. Vinyals. Schenfeld drives it low, falls to O'Dwyer. Darts inside, and the follow-up from Suko doesn't trouble Garner, and center back on the ground for Greenville. It's a decent break here. Ball that sits kindly for O'Dwyer. He threaded it through nicely to Suko. And that's where the contact occurred. Hard-nosed affair between these two squads so far. And that is the fullback, Nate Schultz, getting up to his feet. 28-year-old who has settled into the starting 11 in his last few weeks for the Triumph. Hearing word it'll be 4 minutes of stoppage time before we reach intermission. A match in which chances have been at such a premium that you haven't really seen a chance you would write home about. It is that kind of cagey clash between these East Coast rivals. Sometimes chances are at a premium, sometimes chances appear to be a myth. Vinyals loses out here though, and an opportunity for Greenville potentially beckoning, but it's a heavy touch from Castro. Fortunate break for the kickers. Bill Hart. Vinyals pulling the strings in the heart of midfields. Schenfeldt, flashing cross, looks for O'Dwyer. Ultimately stabbed away by a series of heads. Falls to Zaka Moran. Takes a deflection for Richmond's first corner of the night. It comes in first half stoppage time. Always a scenario in which Neil Vinyals' eyes will light up. Here's Vinyals' in-swinger towards O'Dwyer. Cleared only as far as Schenfeldt. Follows it up, looking for Fitch. Greenville just pinned in their own half for large spells of this opening 45. Here's Vaughn. Looks towards the back stick. Falls for Suko. Slowly twisting the screws are the kickers. And that man, number 19, Justin Suko, has been the middle of everything. Working his way back into the 11. And slowly making his impact felt. Two more minutes of added time separate us at intermission. Vinyals was looking for O'Dwyer's feet. He overran the pass. Into the final minute of stoppage time. Richmond team that slowly has begun to create opportunities. A Greenville team that will, regardless of scoreline, feel the need to regroup at the break. Pressure from Castro. Clearance falls to the feet of Vinyals, and Herrera overzealous on that tackle. Well, halftime whistle sounds, and no score between Richmond and Greenville. A cagey affair through the opening 45 minutes. Nothing to separate these two squads in their second of 4 scheduled meetings this year. We'll see if the game opens up, but so far Richmond unable to break through just yet. They've had the lion's share of possession, but Greenville remaining tight at the back. It's 0-0 at halftime between Richmond and Greenville here at City Stadium. We'll be back after a brief commercial break with some stats and analysis next on ESPN+.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
Not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
Back here from Richmond after 45 minutes at City Stadium. Still no score between Richmond Kickers and Greenville Triumph. Halftime presented by Simplicity. Well, it was a busy week in USL League One and the Jägermeister Cup last weekend. Let's take a look at some of those standout moments from round 2.
Now it's Cheney onto the right foot, and he buries it. For a second consecutive match, it's a dream start for forward Madison. This time, it's Christian Cheney. Obregon buries a beautiful free kick. His second in Jägermeister Cup play. Brings it down, plays it off. Gebhard, and it's 2-1. Disallowed on one end for Charlotte, and Gebhard retakes the lead for forward Madison.
Your Hailstorm player lets it fly, turned away, and the tap-in is through. Cello Martinez, Hernandez, his cross finds Rendon, he scores, it's 2-0, Northern Colorado. One goal already, Rendon, make it 2. Castro rolls it central, it's tapped in. Headed back, dangerously so. Horde settles, Horde scores. A fourth, slices through traffic, Yamazaki strike, oh, Yamazaki.
McKinnon goes to his right. Lion McKinnon shoots, and oh my goodness! It's nearly deja vu for Lion McKinnon against Tormenta. A screaming effort for Tormenta. Nice weighted ball, Curry! and he blasts it home. Tormenta take the advantage. Jamie Smith, he scores.
Probably shouldn't have. Fort Parker's going to regret that one.
Jamie Smith from downtown.
My, oh my. I almost laughed at the audacity of the attempt by Jamie.
75 goals in his career with Lou City in USL Championship. Looking for one here. Oh, it's a beautiful strike. And it's in for Lancaster. If the home side can't hurry, Diouf fires the shot and curls it in. Kept nicely. Wind and fire, and it's in. Alfredo Medense. Welcome aboard. To keep. It's loose in the box, and an area shot is in. My goodness. Central Valley has tied. Corrales approaches, stutters, and scores. The hesitation. Flip ball, the cross, and this one goes up and off the crossbar. Great look denied by the crossbar. Bill Hart from distance, no. Good ball in. A chance for Marsh. Chance for Lukic, and it falls through for the opening goal in the 85th minute. A moment of chaos results in a goal for
Rodriguez. He's 1v1. Rodriguez! Masayo Rodriguez! 4 goals in 3 games! Before he gets stripped away, a shot goes and we're even! Andre Lewis! 5 minutes after Rodriguez, it's Lewis with his second in 2024, and we are tied at 1. Dolabella and Merancio scores! Dolabella, 2-1 Omaha off of the penalty. Possession of velocity, Heel off of his heels. Heel scores! Birthday sends this one in. Metaner, inward, Heel scores! He gets on the board on the 90 plus. And Spokane have taken the lead and put the pressure.
Some thrilling matches in round 2 of the Jägermeister Cup last weekend. We hope for a thrilling second half here. We're going to step aside for a brief moment when we return a look around USL League One. It's the halftime show presented by Simplicity.
You'll get it done.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Traeger up over the top. Tristan Traeger. It's in.
Opportunity here. The hits and a goal.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
Looks great.
Oh. When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
So we've decided to sell the house.
Oh, yeah? Who's your realtor?
Well,
home for sale. Over here, guys. Over here. Only $10.
Where do I find comps? What is incumbents? How do I escrow?
Here's what I found for Scarecrow.
Actually, I've been meaning to ask who you and Paul worked with.
Back here from City Stadium in Richmond, where there's still no score at halftime between Richmond Kickers and Greenville Triumph in this USL League One clash. The halftime show presented by Simplicity. Let's take a look around the league in USL League One. It is match week 9 here in Richmond. These two teams looking for 3 points in the table. Let's take a look at some of the news and notes in USL League One. You saw Detroit City and New Mexico United pulling cup sets to move to the round of 16, which will be played at midweek, as well as AV Alta FC joining League One for 2025, part of the expansion of the league. And keep your eye out, USL League One making its ESPN2 debut. Forward Madison hosting South Georgia Tormenta FC. That is on June 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern. A great crew on hand for that on ESPN2. Looking at the scores around USL League One, you see Tormenta currently leading Chattanooga and Statesboro 1-0 midway through the first half. The rest of the league schedule, that is the Jägermeister Cup Round 2 coming up. Northern Colorado hosting Charlotte. The big standouts here, Richmond traveling to Tormenta, and Madison traveling to Spokane in what should be a fun meeting between those two squads. Looking as well at the upcoming Jägermeister Cup schedule. You saw the upcoming league schedule. Now here's the Jägermeister Cup schedule. Yep, Richmond going to Tormenta, Central Valley going to Union Omaha, and then Charlotte Independence at NoCo, as we mentioned before. Spokane, a couple matches. They play Greenville, the Triumph, going out west to take on the Velocity. That should be a fun one at 9 Eastern on ESPN+. Well, it's still no score in our match in USL League One play. Richmond and Greenville, the second half after some stats and analysis. When we return, it's the halftime show presented by Simplicity on ESPN+.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit RoyalNewKent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
Back here in the River City, picturesque night as the rain begins to hold off here from Richmond. No score between Richmond and Greenville on the Simplicity halftime show, and well, chances were few and far between in the first half, but let's take a look at some of the biggest ones that materialized in those opening 45 minutes First half highlights for you here from City Stadium. You see Richmond, they had the lion's share of the opportunities. It's a nice looking free kick here from Schenfeld. Found the head of Barnathan. No real trouble for Christian Garner between the sticks. If you're a goalkeeper, you've had a great half. You've barely been tested. This is one of the bigger chances for Richmond on the night. You see the ball get headed out to Moran, who lashes at this. It came through, and this set up the first corner, and this is probably where the best chance of the game materialized after that. There was a free header for Justin Suko, who just couldn't quite keep it down. That's really where we sat after 45 minutes. Good-looking free kick here as well. This is where Suko's chance materialized. He lashed at it, couldn't keep it down though, and it's where we sit after 45 minutes. You see the stats on your screen. Richmond bossing everything. Greenville Triumph, a team known for its attacking prowess. Without a shot on target in those opening 45 minutes, they were dominated from a possession perspective, especially towards the tail end of that first half, and doubled up in the shot category. Not the finest half for Rick Wright's bunch, but still level. Biggest thing that matters is 0-0 on the score sheet. We are back and just about ready to get things underway in the second half. Greenville stands over this. Leo Castro will get us back underway. Triumph going left to right on your screen. Richmond now going right to left. A lot hangs in the balance. Greenville still trying to go top. Richmond hunting its first win in the last 7 matches in all competitions. Richmond looking to get back on the right track. Greenville looking to continue their red-hot start to 2024. It'll be interesting to see how Rick Wright's bunch comes out to begin this second half. Remember, Coach Wright said at halftime of the Tormenta match in the Jägermeister Cup last weekend, they had a stern meeting in which the team came out flying, dominated proceedings in the second. Tormenta was forced to sit off and try to protect the result. They were unable to do so in the end. We'll see if there's a similar halftime effect from Coach Wright at play here tonight. There's Hayden Anderson. He had a fast start to the first half, then progressively faded as they worked their way down the opposite flank and tried to get McKinnon more involved. Now comes to the edge of the area for McKinnon. Darts inside for Evan Lee. Takes some contacts. They have come off worse for wear as well. Lee deployed in a midfield role tonight after historically playing more defensively. Players being rearranged in this change of formation to the 4-4-2. No substitutes either way at halftime. You've got to expect if the scoreline remains stable, Richmond will begin to chase it. And it's good to see Lee is shaking off the earlier knock. The second ever Greenville Triumph signing in year 6 with the club. Now north of 30, but still playing tremendous high quality football. Himself and Tyler Polak, 2 original signings in this Triumph lineup tonight. They're looking through here. It comes to Castro. Castro's through, and an excellent stop from Ryan Shello. His first test passed with flying colors. The true 9, and Leo Castro threw on goal here. His eyes would have been wide open. Excellent stop by Shello, darting to his near post to keep Richmond level. And that is no simple task. Castro with 4 goals on the season. He's tied for second in the league in that category. The only double-digit Greenville goal scorer a season ago. Castro gets booked there for delaying the restart. perhaps some frustration after missing the chance moments ago. Man who's in year 18 as a professional footballer. Scored 12 goals a year ago for Greenville. Came up through the Millonarios ranks in Colombia. Spent 8 seasons in the South African top flight before making the move stateside once again a season ago. Wealth of experience at his disposal up front for the Triumph. By the way, one change at halftime. Zukowski entering the fray for Greenville as they look to unlock this match. Ben Zukowski, 23-year-old winger who's traditionally been a starter for this bunch. He'll step onto it now for Greenville and wins the Triumph their first corner of the second half. So it appears Zukowski replaces Anguiano, which is like for like from a positional standpoint. And Zukowski, though, is more traditionally seen on the front line. Greenville setting up for their first corner of this second half. Zukowski and Chapo Herrera in the vicinity. Zukowski's in swinger towards the back post. Ahead to it, falls to Castro briefly and cleared away from the goal mouth. Big half chance there for Greenville. And still not lost. Castro flicked along, and it's driven in, but the flag is raised on the near side. Daniel Wu robbed of his first professional goal. It was on a platter, but the Richmond back line does enough to force him off. Well, if the first 5 minutes are any indication, Greenville has flipped a similar switch since the restart. Richmond will be hoping that that game script doesn't unfold once again. It would have been Wu's first league goal. He scored in the Open Cup. But inches offside. Vinyals picks out Schenfeld. Now Suko. Back to Schenfeld. Flag stays down for Vinyals. He was looking for O'Dwyer at the back stick, but no red shirts to greet it. Nice to see the Red Army still in full force for Richmond. One of the better support bases in all of USL League One. We've mentioned the proud history of this storied club. When established in 1993, they've played in almost every professional tier you can think of, from the second to the fourth tier. The only fourth tier club ever to win the US Open Cup came in the mid-90s. No League One clubs left in the Open Cup this year, though. Here's Castro. Chips it towards Zukowski's head. Not able to track back and get his dome on it. By the way, to make matters more impressive about that 1995 Richmond Kickers Open Cup run, it was the first season in which pro clubs were included. So Richmond, as a fourth-tier outfit, pulled that off. Long throw here, comes to the edge of the area, and well, Castro was bearing down on goal. Shallow had a foot race to win and did it with considerable aplomb. McKinnon. Lee. Anderson. Room to cross this. Goes towards the back post. Header comes from McKinnon. Too much air on it. Greenville already with more chances in the opening 10 minutes of the second than they manufactured in the first. Still awaiting that first shot on target, though. It has been a triumph onslaught, though, to begin the second half. Here's the former Monmouth man, Zukowski. Room to unleash this. Ultimately runs into a sea of red shirts. O'Dwyer the other way. Took the bump from Schultz, and it was enough to draw the official's ire. Fitch in some space for Richmond. Schenfeld. Richmond just trying to settle the match down. Did so well to minimize transitional moments. They bossed possession. They were dominant at the tail end of the first half. Since the restart, a bit of a wobble to begin the second half. Would expect nothing less, though, going up against a team competing for the league's lead at the end of week 9. Greenville team looking to party like it's 2020 once again. An ironic statement, that, but won the league in 2020. Here's Vinyals. Good ball forward to Bill Hart. Chips it back. Was looking for O'Dwyer and mistimed his run. Schenfeld. Does enough to win his side their first corner of the half. Vinyals to deliver once again. Floats towards the heart of the area, and it's off the crossbar. O'Dwyer got his dome to it, and a matter of inches from the opener. Well, what a cross this is, and a perfectly timed run from what ultimately winds up being Simon Fitch. Tries to head it into the turf to skip it into the back of the net. Instead, it goes ground, crossbar, and out of play. Fitch nearly finding the match's opening goal. And against the grain to begin this second as well. Zuko in some space around the byline. Now Vinyals trying to find a runner. And comes loose to Schenfeld. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. We are just shy of the hour mark here in the River City. Richmond and Greenville knotted at 0-0, but this second half has been a barn burner so far. Chances aplenty both ways. Daniel Wu having an opener disallowed due to being offside. On the other side of things, Simon Fitch moments ago heading it off the crossbar on a corner kick. The two best chances of the match for each club coming in these opening 10 minutes since the restart. Here's Castro. He's looking for Zukowski. Cleared only as far as Herrera. McKinnon. Has been a marked man by Fitch all night. And that trend continuing for the time being. Well, for those surprised by the competitive nature of this fixture given the table, don't be. This is a fixture history that is level all time, 6-6-2 in this Richmond-Greenville series. And, well, to add to the nature of that narrative, it was Greenville win at the end of the season, a Richmond win earlier in the year, and a draw midway through the summertime in last season's 3 meetings. It's always a one-goal affair between these two. It was a 1-1 draw in the Jägermeister Cup 3 weeks ago. And for another fun final half hour between these two East Coast squads. Fitch to deliver the throw. Seems intent on launching it pretty long here. Instead goes short. Bill Hart ran out of real estate on the far side. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. An hour gone here from City Stadium. Still nothing to separate these two squads. Sam Goldfarb here bringing you all of the action from the River City. A fun one tonight. It was a cagey first half. Second half has been anything but so far. Shello and Garner have been busier men in these last 16 minutes and change. Franco roaming forward. It's a good switch of the play to Adrian Billhart. Floats in across towards the head of Suko. Took it down well, but unable to keep it in play. Schultz doing just enough to put him off on that near side. Set piece here for Richmond. Schenfeld has been the go-to for these long deliveries. A clean affair so far, just 3 yellow cards. Clean up one detail from the first, both Moran and Vaughn were booked. So the center midfield pairing for Richmond on a yellow. Leo Castro, the only man in the book for Greenville. Schenfeld, it's a laser towards Fitch's head. Triumph doing just enough to escort it out of danger. Hearing word of one change for Richmond coming up in the immediate vicinity. Justin Suko is in line to make way for Ryan Sierakowski. An attack-minded change from a Richmond squad, no doubt chasing 3 points after this recent run of form. This is Moran looking for Suko. One last chance to make an impact. Herrera. It's one back. Suko. "65 minutes gone. A rapid moving second half. Fitch. O'Dwyer, the Englishman. Vaughn, his countryman, if you will. Vinyals. Schenfeld, space to cross this. Closed down well by Anderson. And returning to the upstate in his second season as a pro. And the change will take place. Ryan Sierakowski, a man with a legacy of goal scoring in USL League One, replacing Justin Suko, who enjoyed a solid night. First change for Richmond tonight. Sierakowski out of Michigan State, one of the better goal scorers in program history there. Has been off to a slower start by his lofty standards in 2024. 23 career goals, the bulk of which have occurred in USL League One, speak for themselves. Here's Schenfeld's throw. Stabbed away to Castro. There's McKinnon to his left. Blasts it to Zakowski. He's onside. Ben Zakowski looking for Castro and overcooked it. Well, despite Sierakowski's slower start to the year in league play, the 26-year-old's only goal in this 2024 season in all competitions, guess who it came against? Came against the Greenville Triumph. It was 0-0. He opened the scoring in the 70th minute in round 1 of the Jägermeister Cup. Greenville ultimately snatched a goal back and earned a point, but it was Sierakowski's heroics which broke the seal on the goal scoring the last time these two teams met. And it came at right around this point in the match. It appears now Richmond has moved Chandler O'Dwyer back into a wide midfield role. So your front two is Sierakowski and Vinyals at the moment. Bill Hart streaking down the right flank. Has two ahead of him. Crosses towards Sierakowski. Got his dome to it, but not much trouble for Garner. So secure between the sticks tonight. Has been solid when called upon. Castro. Anderson. Adventurous ball forward. Approaching the business end of proceedings here from the River City. Both sides threatening far more so than they did in the opening 45. But the elusive breakthrough still remains nothing more than a concept. See if one of these sides can make it a reality and snatch all 3 points. It's a Greenville side that has been held scoreless just twice all year. One of those came in a scoreless draw against Forward Madison. Here's McKinnon, a laser from the far side, and did not contact any men in red before floating out of play. It's worth a hit. McKinnon trying for a moment of magic, got underneath it a bit much and never really sat back down. Oddly quiet night for a man who's made goal scoring a hobby in league play this year. A pair of braces already, has been named to 5 Team of the Weeks. There have been 8 Team of the Weeks named so far in USL League One. Ridiculous start to his campaign, and when talking to Rick Wright, he said last season there were flashes. He was the only Greenville Triumph player to score 4 goals in a match against Chattanooga Red Wolves last June. But shortly after that, pulled his hammy, and he missed some time at the later end of the summer and was slow to get back on his feet after returning. This season, more emphasis on giving him rest when needed, not overexerting himself. And the goals have spoken for themselves. Here's Zukowski, tries from long range and narrowly misses that far post. Inches away from nestling it into the bottom right. This is a great effort from Zukowski. Nobody closes him down, has a lash at it, and he had Shello beaten, no doubt about it. Just missing that far post. A man who also had a pretty terrific goal-scoring record in college, Zukowski. Starting to make an imprint on this one off the bench. The only change for Greenville tonight thus far. Hearing word that Zion Scarlett is going to replace Aleo Castro at the next whistle. An eventful night for Castro, but one in which a breakthrough does not come. And Scarlett will be the man to replace him. Just the second change Greenville's made tonight. It's veteran experience replaced with youthful exuberance. The 20-year-old's a product of Columbus Crew 2. He battled injuries in his 2 seasons in Ohio, making his 8th appearance of the year. A regular starter who's played forward as well as wing back this year. So versatile for Rick Wright's bunch. Corner coming here for Richmond. Schenfeld stands over it and takes it short. Low cross. May not have hit that where he was aiming. Scarlett is filled with talent, a native of Ardmore, Pennsylvania, but man of Jamaican heritage who has played for the Jamaican U20 national team at the CONCACAF U20 Championship a couple years ago. Began his career in the Union Academy. now with Greenville triumph. Polak. And now McKinnon. Drives in a ball. Ultimately stabbed away to the feet of Billhart, and an open field to work with. Threaded through. There's space on the counter for Richmond. Sierakowski bundled over. No whistle from the official. There'll be one more change for Richmond, where here James Vaughn is going to make way. Should happen at the next dead ball. Appears to be an attack-minded one as well. Nicholas Simmons, a 17-year-old Virginia commit, listed forward in line to replace the midfielder Vaughn and see how they alter the midfield. I assume they'd move Vinyals back into that center mid role and let him function as the creative 10 alongside the defensive-minded 6 in Moran. He'll make that change now. Simmons, the 17-year-old native of Midlothian, Virginia. Played for Richmond United, a local club, before signing with the club on an academy basis last year. He became the youngest goal scorer in club history last August in league play against Central Valley Fuego. That was his only professional goal. He now replaces James Vaughn. Set piece here for Greenville as we enter the final quarter of an hour of the 90. It is Zikowski and Polak standing over this. Important points in the table hang in the balance tonight. The question, will we have our breakthrough before the 90 minutes are up? Here's Polak's delivery. It's a high floating cross and right into the waiting gloves of Ryan Cello. That's exactly what they do. We mentioned moving Vinyals into midfield. That's where he stands. Simmons now up front alongside Sierakowski. Formation appears to be largely unchanged, although maybe they fit into a 4-1-4-1 at some point, which is Coach Sawatsky's preferred formation when they're fully healthy. Got Moran sitting a little deeper here. Greenville still in the 4-4-2. Simmons, his first touch. Now Vinyals. Billhart. Trying to save this from going out of play. And ultimately took the last touch off Polak's boot. Another corner on the way for Richmond. And this is where they've posed their most danger tonight. Fitch's near opener came from the opposite corner flag about 15 minutes ago. It'll be Schenfeld to deliver the in-swinger in front of the Red Army. Good looking cross, near post. It was flashing off Simmons' skull and ricocheted off a Greenville defender for another corner. Another low cross. He was looking for Franca. It sits for Fitch. Comes loose to Billhart. And took another deflection out of play. Into the final 10 minutes of the 90. Greenville looking to counter. And they'll come back to the earlier tug of the shirt. Anderson had his shirt pulled before that contact, and I believe that is what will draw this yellow card. Exactly what occurs. Another Richmond man in the book tonight. A professional foul on the shirt pull to prevent the counter. It's given to Maxi Schenfeld, who has now received a yellow card in the last 7 matches in all competitions. And that's his 5th yellow of the season as well in league play. Zurikowski picks out Simmons, looking for the return ball, and a much-needed intervention from Jamie Smith.
Your attention, please. Substitution for
Greenville making a like-for-like swap at center back. Does it for Daniel Wu's night, the former All-American at Georgetown. Oliver Hald, the Danishman, who fills in at center back. He started the Jägermeister Cup against Tormenta, making his third appearance in league play. Someone who worked his way all the way up from the JUCO ranks to Southern Methodist University in the college ranks. Played for one of the best programs in the nation, reached the Sweet 16 this past fall. Someone who is growing into comfort with the professional game, according to Rick Wright. Schenfeld lost his footing. Well, Halt's journey is a notable one. Mentioned began his career at Muskegon Community College, was an All-American as a freshman in the JUCO ranks before transferring to Evansville for the next 2 years. That's a school in Indiana, plays in the Missouri Valley Conference. After that, he made the move to Southern Methodist, SMU, one of the best programs in the country, and was a regular starter for his final season of college soccer there. Quite the journey. Someone in the community college ranks all the way to professional soccer in USL League One. For Richmond, they are dealing with a goal drought. It's been over 170 minutes of all competitions since they last scored after being held scoreless last weekend. Last goal came in second half stoppage time, though, to rescue a point in that Knoxville result here. Adrian Billhart was the hero. He remains on the pitch. Anderson. First touch by Oliver Hald. Polak. McKinnon. if Richmond gets a result tonight, you cannot say enough positive things about Simon Fitch. He's caused trouble down that right-hand side, one of the more dangerous outlets of attacking creation tonight for Richmond. Has done all of that while marking the top goal scorer in USL League One in Liam McKinnon and largely taking him out of the match. Job's not complete yet, but Simon Fitch's effort has been masterful. Now you see Richmond moving to that 4-1-4-1 with the high press. This is what Darren Sawatsky wants to implement on a larger scale as the season progresses. They look long here for McKinnon. Flag stays down. McKinnon opens the scoring! A stunner in Richmond, and the league's top scorer makes an impact. Goal 6 of the season for Liam McKinnon, and it comes at a very necessary moment for Greenville. Well, we mentioned he hadn't been much of a factor, but here off the restart, gets behind the last line of defense, shoots and slides it into that near post perfectly. Shello gets a paw to it, but not much more. This is clinical finishing from the 24-year-old Liam McKinnon, once again causing trouble and giving Greenville the lead on the road. A man who last season announced himself with the 4-goal outburst against Chattanooga. Here tonight, continuing to be a menace on the goal-scoring front. And he may have just snatched the 3 points for Greenville. McKinnon has now logged a goal contribution. In the last 5 matches. The last 3 league matches. He did not have a goal contribution the last time these two teams met. That's the only match in the last 5. He has not produced a goal or an assist. Gets out of the box here against Richmond at a huge moment tonight. McKinnon officially in the 85th. City Stadium in stunned silence. Vignal's looking to change that. And the loose challenge from O'Dwyer. Right into Evan Lee's ankles. Allow Greenville to slow this down a little bit more. Liam McKinnon has made history wherever he's gone. At Villanova, had 17 goals and 14 assists in his career. Can play winger, can play up front. Was part of Villanova's first ever NCAA tournament victory. He's now made the move to the USL League One ranks and made an immediate impact. That was his 13th league goal dating back to last season. Had 7 goals and 4 assists last year. Now 6 goals and 2 assists in just 8 league matches here in 2024. Three consecutive league matches for McKinnon with a goal contribution as O'Dwyer is booked for the late challenge. Richmond forced to throw caution to the wind here tonight. A first half in which they were so promising, created the bulk of the few chances that were generated, but unable to truly threaten Christian Garner. Fitch missing by a matter of inches in the 60th, and they pay the price for the lack of clinical touch. Flag is raised this time. And that will set up Richmond for the set piece. Here's Vinyals. Approaching the 90th. Hearing word it'll be 4 minutes of added time. We'll ping it wide for Billhart. Still time for Richmond. It's a decent looking cross, but no one on the end to meet it. Zakowski. Numbers now for Greenville. Much needed challenge there from Fitch. Fans, the USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com for complete USL TV listings. Into stoppage time, 4 minutes confirmed. The man who is tonight's hero, as of now, will vacate. Pascal Corvino will replace him. A defensive-minded substitution now for Greenville. As Liam McKinnon, the man in line to be the hero once again for Greenville, will make way to a deserved applause from his teammates. Pascal Corvino, more of a box-to-box, defensive-minded midfielder, replaces him.
38 replacing 14.
Meanwhile, for Richmond, also a change. Griffin Garnett, the 17-year-old center back, entering the fray as well for the Kickers. Here's Vinyals. Tumbled down, at least one more set piece to defend if you're a Greenville fan. Now they will make that change, or at least whenever the referee gives the signal. Corvino still waiting, McKinnon still on the pitch. And now they make the change. So the hero tonight, McKinnon, vacating at stoppage time. It's his 85th minute strike, which currently is in line to make the difference. Vinyals hoping to flip the game script right here. Towards the back stick. Barnathan's tugged down, appeals for a penalty, and the referee's unmoved. There was certainly pushing and shoving. It's a question of who initiated it. Let's get another look at the appeal. Replay presented by Greenswell Growers. You see Barnathan, he does tug Corvino first, to be fair. I believe, if anything, you may whistle that against the Richmond man, despite the fact that Barnathan also fell down in the process. Final minute of stoppage time. Richmond looking for some late heroics. Simmons. Moran. He's looking towards Sierakowski. Schenfeld keeps it in play. Goes out for a throw right near the corner flag. Vinyals. Crosses towards the back post. Much needed intervention from Zion Scarlett. Perhaps time for one final attack for the Kickers. They look long, and it is right into the gloves of Christian Garner, who may be able to wait out the remaining seconds of stoppage time. We are now beyond the 4 minutes. Scarlett loses it. Vinyals Time for one final chance. Sierakowski. Schenfeld. Cross clattering right into the back of Anderson. And that does it. Liam McKinnon's 85th minute strike making all the difference as Greenville snatches all 3 points on the road. The Triumph back to top of the USL League One table. Richmond 7 winless in all competitions. A brutal break for a home side that was the better of the two squads in the first half. But Liam McKinnon smashing and grabbing all 3 points at the death for Greenville. We'll step aside when we return. A look at our man of the match and some full-time analysis. We'll be back here on ESPN+.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Back here from City Stadium, where at full-time Greenville Triumph prevails in 1-0 fashion, courtesy of Liam McKinnon's 85th minute stunner. A Triumph side that opened the match struggling, still takes all 3 points in a resilient display. And let's take a moment to look at some of those standout moments from the match. A first half that was cagey. It was a second half that immediately burst onto the scene. Leo Castro, after the restart, nearly opening the scoring, if not for Ryan Shello's much-needed save. And then about 10 minutes later, how about this? Simon Fitch, free header, heads it into the turf, skips off the deck, and onto the crossbar, missing tantalizingly by a matter of inches. That could have been the opener, and Richmond would pay the price for failing to convert on that opportunity, because then about 20 minutes later, Liam McKinnon's solo effort making the difference. Flag stays down, goes near post, has enough steam to take it beyond Shello. That is what handed Greenville all 3 points in the dying embers. What an effort from McKinnon, his 9th goal in all competitions this year for Greenville. Let's take a look at the full-time stats. Remember, at the end of the first half, Richmond was doubling up Greenville on shots. They had all of the shots on goal. Greenville really flipped the script in the second half. They outshot Richmond by the end, level with 3 shots on target apiece. They did play out of possession for the bulk of the match, but otherwise, Greenville picked up the slack in the second, and they made the difference with the bit of clinical finishing necessary to get the job done on the road tonight. 3 points for the league leaders to move back atop the USL League One table. Our full-time stats, and now our man of the match, presented by Kiter. It is Simon Fitch, who was a hero tonight for Richmond on both ends of things. Got forward really effectively, caused a lot of danger at right back, and then defensively also did a really good job on McKinnon for large spells of that match. But unfortunately, it was this moment, our Courtyard Marriott play of the match, which made the difference and handed Richmond yet another league defeat. Liam McKinnon's 85th minute strike. It is a video Richmond fans won't want to watch back too much on repeat, but it is this that gave Greenville all 3 points. Clinical from the league's leading scorer, Liam McKinnon, the hero once again for the league leaders tonight. That does it for our coverage here from City Stadium in Richmond, where Greenville triumph, snatch all 3 points on the road. The league leaders put another 3 points in the bank to move clear atop the USL League One table. So for Sam Goldfarb and our terrific production crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Greenville prevails on the road in Richmond to notch another victory in USL League One play. Have a good rest of your night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express